Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a momentous day on my Twitch channel. If you are unaware, I am F1 Nuthead, aka Jack, and I am here for a massively hyped league. It has been approximately around about a month since this league first founded on the Xbox side, and it is here for their second tier, of course, and we are here joined gracefully by Ollie today. How are you doing, my friend? I'm excited.
I'm absolutely buzzing for this. It's going to be a fantastic season. 10 races to commence on the Xbox side of things, and we're here in Australia. We have 14 drivers for the first race of the season. Like I said, Jack, it's going to be a good season. I'm really looking forward to it.
Indeed, that does make two of us, of course, in a 10-round season, which it is, of course, on the run-up towards F1 2018. If you are unaware of the prize on offer for all of these, well, it should be 20, but unfortunately we only have 14 today, but hopefully that can improve throughout the next few weeks. If you are unaware, they will win a copy of Formula 1 2018, the video game, along with a trophy for them prestigious selves, which I'm sure you'll see all over Twitter if they are indeed on top. But in a 10-round season, it is crucial that every single round you finish high, because there is no chance for slips, no chance for mistakes, because it's half a longer than what you normally would see on the F1 2017 calendar. On board with the first man out, which is the Ferrari of Little Rye, and I am very excited to see how this lad gets on. Now, Ollie, obviously, me and you, we come in, we know a few guys from other leagues and stuff like that, but who are you mainly keeping your eye on? Who do you think is going to impress?
Well, of course, I don't know everybody, unfortunately, in this league, but first I do know ILRI, I do know he's a quick driver, as well as Ninjas, but I'm sure we will be impressed by all the drivers we do have on track. I'm looking forward to see what the Roadsters can do, because of course I know him way back from the new dream days with X90G, so I like to see what he can do now racing in a proper league. But I'm sure it's really going to depend on this first round, who can really nail that lap around here in Australia. And of course, Australia, one of the more difficult tracks personally on the calendar we do have this season. But for me, Jack, I think ILRI, and I might be completely off, but hopefully I'm right, but he's a one to keep an eye on.
Indeed, I will certainly be keeping on every single 14 members in this lobby. But we're on board with Little Rise just now coming towards turns number 1 and 2. Brakes, obviously, they missed a little bit on the apex, a bit wide as well, running onto the outside curve and onto the AstroTurf as well, but using every inch of track that you possibly can. Now on the run out towards turn number 3. Very difficult breakers, are very easy to lock up, very easy to run wide, and very easy to lose it due to slip retraction on exit. Now sliding his way pretty much through towards turn 4. Might have a bit wide there towards now through the long hard corner in the wet, particularly at turn 5 now. Towards 6, 7 and 8. There's 6. There's 7 for you. And there indeed is turn number 8. Round the long right hand of it is turn 8. Now towards 9 and 10, which is interesting, called the Clark Corner. Of course, around the Melbourne Street Circuit. Most of them are named after famous Formula 1 drivers. There's the Clark Corners there, 9 and 10. Now out down towards turn 11 and 12. Now watch out for some ballsy overtakes in the race here, particularly on lap number 1 as they try and sneak their way past. Through 11, there's 12, and he's dropped it massively in the Ricciardo, and the Ferrari has a huge moment. So that will conclude, unfortunately, the track guide from the right. There he is on Ricciardo's screen on the left-hand side, but he's now coming up towards Ascari corner, which is turn number 13, braking nicely down to around about 4th gear, getting it nice, and again, powering his way out, as if to say, yep, I'm on a fast one here, sunshine, and he runs wide at 14 there. Ran Jackie Stewart's call up towards Prost, it is 15. And lastly, but by no means least, turn number 16, the long right hand, which is very easy to get wrong. There is a car up ahead that I think may kick us off on time screens. It is Julian with 23.206, Ricardo 23.2615. The other Ferrari, Adam Lee, he is around the final corner up to the line for him. He will set a 22 points. Wait for it to come in. I don't think he has, because it has been invalidated. So my luck, as per usual, is Wycombe with a 42.484. Now, of course, we did see him spin, so that is not a competitive lap. Tom's battles there, foot 23.720, just over a tenth off of Ricciardo. They're not too bad. Then Peanut up to the line, 27.583. Definitely more time to give from Peanut there. On board with Ninjas in the Haas. He's just going to come around turn at number 14. Of course, someone you said to keep your eye on potentially. Let's see what this lad can do. Of course, you do know him from other leagues. He's now around towards turn number 16. For now, so 23.2 to beat at the top of the charts, set first by Julian. He's currently 4 tenths clear of everyone else, but Ninjas is up to the line, and it's a 22.352. Hello, where have you been? 9 tenths clear. What a lap from the Haas driver. He has set the pace early on. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a great lap from Ninjas there. 9/10 quicker than Julian in second place. A new fast lap from Echo's plays, just 3/10 quicker than Ninjas. So I can see us breaking into 21s, Jack, today in Australia. I was looking at the online time trial here at this track. They were hitting 1 minute 20s, but I think that's sort of ILR tier 1, and I'm sure tier 1 in IRL will be hitting those 20s, but it's a 9 tier 2 unfortunately. But yeah, I think we'll break that 21. But a great lap from Echoes there, but we still have another 5 drivers yet to do their laps. Unfortunately, we've got one race lagged out already, but let us know your thoughts on the qualifying and the race, who you're supporting. Let us know in the Twitch chat. I will read out your lovely comments as the race goes on, and yeah, just let us know what your how's your day gone. Just let us know about anything goes here in tier 2.
Indeed, we like a casual environment. I think that's what we agreed on, a nice casual one.
Yes.
But we are, of course, still here to provide as much professional commentary as we possibly can to currently, I believe, 6 viewers, which is quite nice to have, given the fact that it is, of course, tier 2. Don't forget you can tune into tier 1 if you so wish, but we prefer you not to. Please stay where you are. But yeah, like you said, Echo's topping the charts there, 3/10 clear. Little Ride did come in and set a competitive lap now with 22.600, as well as also we did see overkills in the Williams with 23.224, so very close between himself and Julian. Of course, Julian was the first to go fastest, but then immediately Ninjas came out of absolutely nowhere and destroyed him by about 9/10, and then Echoes came in and said, nope, I'm going to be on pole position. He did a Brendan Lee finger wag and said, nope, I'm going to take pole position for now. But currently, we have a few guys just on their way out. We kind of have Nate's dog, or Nate as I'm just going to call him. He is out on the Super Softs in the Force India, just now come through turn number 5. Just for lap time set there. Chris Macca-Jones, so I'm just going to call you Chris, easy enough, 22.091. Splits the two leaders there by 5 thousandths of a second. You cannot quite write that. That is unbelievable margins. So the Mercedes into P2, but narrowly misses out on the Renault. But only 4 minutes to go, so he's got to hurry up if he wants to get back into the pits and do another lap there, Ollie.
Yeah, he's if he can get back in on time, he might be able to get back into. Well, and then he can get back to take that second place. But of course, still a lot of time left here in the session. We've got Jace and Matt in the chat. Hello to you both. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. But yeah, still plenty of time to go. Hopefully they get to my prediction to get into the 21s. Otherwise, I'm looking an absolute idiot. But that's happened multiple times while I'm commentating. I say one thing and it doesn't happen, but that's just classic me. But Nick comes around the final bend. Where will he pop out? He's across the line, and he goes 9th place now. Jack with a 1:24.2.
Indeed, not a too bad lap, given the fact he is on the super soft, but still 6/10 off his nearest competitor. Vierty Rogers does come in for 25.134 as well in the process, so he slots in there. Hopefully more time to find from Rodsters, but of course Nate coming in for 24.221, 6/10 off of Ricardo, but of course on the super soft, so he could find a set of ultra softs if he wishes and try and go for it, but it's looking a bit touch and go of how long's left to go in the session. So could that have been an interesting strategy call to see him try and qualify on the super softs? But given the fact we've still got to see S. Perez and Adam Lee, we probably could expect to see them beat that, as well as Rodgers and Peanut to actually set a competitive time. There's a shape-shifting barrier there, as I just saw, while on board with Adam Lee at turn number 14. Let's hope that doesn't affect anyone. But Adam Lee is round the final, just about to start a lap, I believe, because he's doing about 28, so I would believe that is not a competitive lap. He's now come around towards turn 1. WR button back in, that's good to see. Unfortunately, will now start from the back of the field, but nevertheless, still has a chance for himself. But we're currently on board with a Ferrari of Adam Lee to see what he can do. But it's an interesting call from Nate to go onto the super softs, because of course it's a fairly easy one-stop round here, Ollie, not too bad on tyre wear.
Yeah, interesting move from maybe he's trying some different strategy, trying to outplay the guys in front of him. Maybe, I'm not quite sure what he's doing, but like you said, I think the strategy really is ultra soft to soft, but doing the super soft, maybe he can get his tyre a little bit further than other drivers. We've got no idea. Maybe on the wheel, which will help with tyre wear. We'll have to keep an eye on what he's doing throughout the race. But 2 minutes 20 left in the session. We've got Jason in the chat asking the strategy, just talked about the strategy, so we're all informed on that. But yeah, still on board with Adam Lee as he comes towards the final sector, Jack.
Indeed, he is just now coming through towards turns number 13 and 14, the double kink right, of course. Scary and Jackie Stewart, of course, they're called. Fun little fact for you that you're not really going to need, but you never know. That might come up in your local pub quiz for you. Now round towards 15 and finally 16 for Adam Lee. Of course, he has got enough time, but I don't know if he has enough fuel. Let's quickly check that. He hasn't got enough fuel for another lap by the looks of things, so this will do him. 22.422, but again invalidated, so he must have got all sorts of wrong at turns number 11 and 12. And I don't think he's only got 0.9 lap of fuel, so that's not enough to do a lap. We have had someone make a small error by the looks of things in sector 1. What have we had there? I believe that's just Chris retiring, actually.
Yeah.
As S. Perez there. Perez just gone in the Force India, ironically. 22.430, P4 for now. So that's a fantastic back from the Force India. Sort of pop out of nowhere, really. And showing his statement of intent early. And into P4 for now. So not too bad. The Ninja's just about to start one himself. But this is really crunch time for these guys. It's time to see what they can do, Ollie.
Yeah, this is the time of the shine, really, as Adam also has both Chris and Adam giving up on their session. But yeah, you guys have to put the pedal to the metal, as they say. Try and get that best lap. Trying to get on, ideally, the left side of the grid where the grip is on track, where the racing line, of course, is here in Australia. But of course, this track does throw a tricky turn 1 and 2 going down to start the race. So we'll see. Have to see how these guys negotiate that at the start of the race in approximately, I'd say, about 3 minutes time. We should have the race starting. But yeah, still on board with Perez, like he said, happily in the Force India as well. Comes around the final couple of corners and see if he can improve on his 4th position.
Indeed, we'll have to see what he can do, because of course that was a fantastic first lap. He has got enough fuel. I just saw Rudsters also come around the final corner as Julian retires. Little Rod goes fast there with 21.542, so the Ferrari shows a state of intent as Perez couldn't go fast there. Julian does retire. We do have someone in the chat wishing him good luck, but unfortunately that's not quite good luck, so he will start from P6, but potentially even lower. Checker flag is out. No improvement from Nate, because of course he couldn't get back out. Rudsters is being slightly having to sort of go as quick as he can, because he had little light all over his arse, so that was not good for him. Anyone come up towards the line? Ninja's just come up to the line. 21.997 for him, so they do get into 21s. Like you said, 21.564, 200ths. Overkill, missed out on pole position for now by 200ths. That is incredibly close. Echo's play. He's coming around the final few corners now. The Renault driver, of course, P4, has been demoted after setting the bank laps fastest, and it's not looked good for him, but he has a chance here to reclaim that position now. He's round the final corner. He's up to the line for the Renault, and it's going to be a 21.6. It's only P3 for now, but that will do it nicely, but he's still narrow margin separating a lot between the front three. Just over a tenth. That's like a small switch of oversteer, which could cost you pole position. Doesn't matter if Perez is going to find more time. What about Rudsters? He's round towards turn number 14, but as well, we're going to keep an eye on WR Peanut. He's still got to find loads of more time, because he's in the 27s. Come on, lad, get your time a bit quick. We've round 16, that is a little bit wide, but will surely beat his time. He's already at 19 seconds, he's already up to the line. It's going to be a 23.141 for him, but it was invalidated, so that will do that. Rod's got to line 23.581. And that will slot the Sauber into P10 that he will have to start on. Then that's the worst position to probably get if you're going to start that far down. But that will do qualifying. And it's so close between the front three, Ollie.
Yeah, incredible scenes at the top of the table here. The top three split by a full tenth. It's amazing. I've never seen that before. I'm so glad they haven't had exactly the same time, because we have the issue in the bars of cars starting on top of each other. But yeah, it's super close at the top of the grid. And if it's close now in qualifying, Jack, I'm sure it'll be hopefully this close in the race. I've got stricken cars all over my screen. With the poor AI after they seem to qualify go all over the place. But yeah, it's another great qualifying here in Australia, and I'm really hoping for a great race. So hopefully, guys, you are enjoying. Let us know who you think is going to get on the podium in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, with such close margins as they have been, you've got to think, as we've just seen, the Sauber and the Renault both been in there at turn number 7 on board overkills. But yeah, you've got to say, the start is going to be as crucial as ever with such fine margins separating the front three. It is going to be clinical for them to get a good start, because that could cost them the race with such narrow margins between them in terms of lap times. It's going to make sure that they have to get a good start. Little Rose going to have to defend like a maniac in towards turn 1. Of course, on that left-hand side, that favoured left-hand side, which you did, of course, mention. So it's going to be better for him because, of course, the racing line is used there and stuff. But you never know. Overkill says a very much good stance alongside him. And Echoes as well, of course. He set the pole provisional lap, but then after a while, as the times came down, and they did get into the 21s, he managed to grab P3 at the last second. But it is indeed Little Roy in the Ferrari on pole. Alongside him on the front row is Overkill's in the Williams. Echo Plays and SRL Ninjas are on your second row of today. Chris and Pez, Mercedes and Force India. Ironic that Perez is in the Force India. I'll keep to mention that. Is in P6. P7 is Tom's Battles. Alongside him is AVR Julian in the Red Bull. McLaren of Ricardo, P9 with Rudsters. Rounding out the top 10 in the Sauber. And outside the top 10 we have Nate, WR Peanut, Adam Lee, and Laper Affinity. I hope I pronounced that right. And then just outside we have WR Button for the Grand Prix. But this is... I'm very much excited at the moment.
Yeah, same position, Jack. It should be a good one. Hopefully we don't have any rain, because rain Australia is a difficult one with how close the barriers are to the track, but we'll have to wait and see. No, it's lovely, it's sunny, so ignore what I said, and hopefully we have a great race. Of course, one-stop strategy here in Australia, and yeah, this start is going to be absolutely crucial for these drivers to nail.
Yeah, now I'm going to ask you a little newbie question. Is the formation lap on?
It is not. I did double check. I've made that mistake multiple times in commentary again. Oh, here we go, formation lap, and the lights come on and go, oh, damn it. No, it is off, Jack, so we're going straight into the race. Okay, well, quick question before we get underway. Who do you think is going to be on that top step? Because I think it will be one of the top 3 drivers. And I personally think I'm going to go with Lillery. I've seen him in the past, and I think I'm going to go with him. Quickly, Jack, what about you? I'm going to quickly go. I'm going to go Overkills. I think it's going to be a good start. Watch out for him here. Let's see if he does as we get ready for them 5 red lights for an historic day in the ILR universe. We have 5 red lights are on, and season 1 of it's underway, and it's a really cagey start with the Renault there of, I believe that was... I don't know who that quite was, but now Little Roy trying to fend off down the inside. S1 just immediately climb up to P3. Chris Macker-Jones as well as Peters trying to do his best as they come around towards turn number 2. Side by side between the Haas and the Williams. So they come up towards turn number 3. It's going to be Overkill on the inside. Ninja's on the outside as Little Roy defends him. Trying to sort of let Ninja try and swoop round the outside of him up towards turn number 4. And it looks like he might very much have it as well. Chris doing his best to try and take advantage of that as well, just closing up. But the front 4 have clinically gone away from the rest of the field in an unbelievably wacky start for everyone, Ollie. Yeah, crazy start here in Australia. I think maybe some lag issues for some of the drivers causing the massive gap between... Oh my, that is Chris. Oh, just chill, I think that's lag. But yeah, crazy start here in Australia. Ninja's the man winning at the start, in 2 positions off the start. He has got Overkill and Chris right behind him. He's got to be careful here. ILRI still leading on lap number 1 as they come towards the end of sector number 2. Indeed, as meanwhile Chris trying to look around the outside of Overkill up towards turn number 13. Of course, but a third DRS run is allowed in 2018, but not on this year. It's all down to pure pace, and on lap 1 he can't quite, as Overkill just about fends him off and squeezes him out and holds that P3 for now. But that's lost touch with him just that little bit to the front 2 of Little Roy and SR Ninjas. Ninja's doing his best to try and stick towards Little Roy, but Little Roy might just very much have what he needed, which was a clean start. But it's interesting to note the guy who had all the problems was Echo Place. He's now down into P12. Meanwhile, Rodster's had a bit of a wallop in the wall, I believe, at turn number 16. And he just lost 2 positions out to Affinity and WR Button there. But in terms of tyre choices, they've been interesting for now, because, of course, you have Adam Lee Peanut on the softs. Affinity also doing the same, as Nate's just coming from a set of the softs himself. Super soft tyres for Button, but everyone else is on the ultra soft compound, which means they're absolutely gunning for it. Chris is lagging like an unbelievable, so just unbelievable battles there behind Perez, and you can see him in the distance, and I can guarantee that Overkills is probably shaking like a crapping dog because he's worried about hitting him. And as well with Perez, he doesn't want to get too close in case a little click and all of a sudden he's lost his front wing and the race is out the window for him. Meanwhile as well, Rodster's being passed by Echo Place. He is falling down the order, VRT Rodsters. He's now down into P13, starting P10. And Echo Plays now trying to work his way back up after a really laggy start for himself. It's such a shame to see from P3 on the grid. And it was just so cagey. I apologise for the awful commentating on it.
but it was just impossible to tell what on earth was going on because it was absolute chaos. Meanwhile, Chris is now under pressure from Perez. Can he get round the lagging Mercedes that he is? He is trying to go around the outside. He might very much have it here, up towards 14, and he does. What a fantastic move. And now the Renault of Tom trying to go down the inside at turn number 15, outbreaks him unbelievably, but the switchback went very much beyond, but Chris dives it in, and he has front wing damage on that front right. I don't know if he made contact with the back of Overkill's. DRS enabled, but it's been an interesting one, and now Perez has that P4 and has a chance to try and close up towards the leaders.
Yeah, Perez up to P4 now. He's going to put his foot down and catch up with the top three. Unfortunately, Chris in the pits with that damage down to 14 for him. But the real winners on lap number 1 is Adam Lee getting 6 positions. Leopard, I think he probably said that wrong, but he has gained 5 positions. And the real losers are, of course, Chris and Julian, as well as Echoes losing 10 positions. So some good starts and bad starts across the grid. The top 3 are still the same, with ILRI leading, Ninjas in second, and Overkill in third. And these guys are staying right together, compact at the.
Overkill's made a mistake.
He has, and
sorry,
that is up in the second place for Overkill. So Ninja's making a mistake coming out of before the sweeping left-hander, and he's lost that place. Of course, no DRS, like you said, Jack, in the section of the track, unfortunately. So Overkill back up into his position where he started at the start of the race.
Indeed, opportunistic start from Ninjas, you've got to say, but he's just fallen off there and just lost it just a little bit out of turn number 10. Remember, Adam Lee has just got past the McLaren there of Ricardo. Ricardo was on the ultra soft tyres, and Ricardo has almost dropped it there out of turn 13, right in front of his teammate. Hello, new teammate, how are you doing? Let me just show you what I can do into the wall. That would have been a bit pathetic and a bit loopy. Meanwhile, as well, Tom Battles getting past Perez there for P4 in a fantastic move as they break towards turn 11 and 12 in the process. So it's looking like he could be on for a very potential good race. Currently 4 seconds behind the front 3, but of course if they start to battle, he can close right up as well. So he's doing a fantastic job and just absolutely gunning for it in the Renault. He's doing his best to try and claim, of course. If you do, let's face it, you're going to have a lovely momentous thing, a lovely prestigious thing to say, yep, I won the first race on the Xbox side of ILR. What a prestigious award that would be. I would love to take that home myself. Unfortunately, I'm sat here in the com box instead, but I'd rather be here because a little less pressure. Little Raj just run a little bit wide there at turn 7, and he's vulnerable towards overkills and running towards turn number 9 and 10. Can the Williams go for a move here to take the lead? He backs off in the end. Thinks better of his VRT Rodgers is out of the Grand Prix. Is that because he's just given up, or is that actually he has
crashed?
The wall?
Yeah, crashed at turn 4, it looks like, turn 5, into the wall, maybe hitting Toshka on the exit, which can be quite tricky here in Shredders. Unfortunately, the 7th man is out of the race at the first race of the season, but I'm sure he'll come back stronger next week, Jack.
Indeed, I hope he will. Meanwhile, Overkill very close towards Little Right. He is sniffing the exhaust fumes coming out of that Ferrari. The question is, can he get the move done? It's one thing to get close to someone, it's another thing to overtake. And dirty air is so difficult in these 2017 cars. Just look at him struggle through turn 16. You can see it, he's almost dropped it into the wall. He clipped the wall, no front wing damage for the lad that he gets away. But Adam Lee with the first 3-second time penalty of the Grand Prix. But that could be clinical for him, and that could allow Little Right just that little bit of breathing space that he needed. And I'd rather commentate Kirsten there with the amount of dirty air that you do get. But it's crucial to note that Overkill still has DRS, but Ninjas currently does not. Is that because he was too close, or is that a potential failure in the DRS system? Because of course that is in F1 2017, you can have the DRS fail on you at any point during the Grand Prix. I believe he just saw a slight problem there. I don't know if that was timing screen issues for Echoes there, because he just suddenly dropped about 4 positions, and I don't think he looked like he walloped the wall or anything. So I think that was just minor glitches.
Yeah, we do have the odd issue, unfortunately, we do commentate over these races, but yeah, I'm surprised that Overkill didn't pin it in the wall there. Very great skill to keep it out of the wall, in fact, but yeah, he's getting his composure back now. I think maybe he's feeling the pressure of being stuck behind the Ferrari in that day, like you said, Jack. If he can get into that groove and into the zone, I'm sure we can challenge Lil Reed for that Wednesday. 5 laps done out of 29, so still a long way to go. Maybe you can get him in the pits potentially, just chill out behind him, but of course we'll keep an eye on the progress, and he's even closer than he's been before, Jack, so we may see him move down one of the DRS tracks.
Indeed, we might. Little Roy running a little bit wide, and Overkills this time gets a fantastic exit out of turn 16. He might shift to the inside here, he might wait for potentially out of turn 2 towards turn 3. This could be clinical for him. Get a good exit here, lad, and you could be on for a move for potential the race lead for the time being. Little Rye doing his absolute best, and it looks like it's a relatively inexpert Little Rye moving all over the place, saying, nope, you're not having my slipstream, sunshine, and he just about holds it for now through turn 3. But watch out as well on the exit towards 11 and 12. Of course, around here, not really overtaking manoeuvres. You've got to wait for the guy to make a mistake, but all Overkill can do is just pressure Rye like crazy, and in the hope that he does indeed make a mistake. But Little Rye looks calm and composed currently behind that racing car that is the Ferrari. Round turn number 8 they come, and he just looks like as if both of these men are so determined. Ninjas as well, looking opportunistic. He already has done that once this Grand Prix. Off the line, of course, he was so opportunistic to get past in a laggy start, but unfortunately missed out and had a move back done past, but he's still looking like any battle and he could be right on top of it, so watch out for him currently in P3 through 11 and 12, and all of them sliding like crazy there. They're starting to say that the tyre wear is starting to feel a little bit, it shouldn't be too bad at this point, but they're still going to feel a slight drop in grip from what they had at the start of the Grand Prix. The freezing time there for Affinity, so that's another one in the books. Of course, 11 and 12, so easy to corner cut around here. Expect to see maybe a fair few penalties coming out of that. But if you can get as less as possible and just keep the penalties right down, you could always end up somewhere in this Grand Prix. Watch out for these three leaders, try and do that. And again, Overkills gets a good exit out of turn number 16, but it doesn't look like he's close enough for the moving towards turns 1 and 2. Watch him again try in towards turn 3. Again, as he gets a 3-second time penalty. So the commentator's curse strikes, and that could be clinical for the Williams. Not just come now, but also later in the race. That psychological effect also has on you, because you know for a fact that you have to get past the car in front, and then they get a further 3 seconds. But it's still a long way to go, and anyone else could still pick up another penalty within themselves. It's so easy to do, Ollie.
Yeah, I was going to say that he was on 2 warnings already, Jack, and there he goes and proves my point, getting that last penalty to get that 3 seconds. So, unfortunately for Overkill, he's going to struggle unless the other guys around him get those penalties. You have to put his foot down and try and or have to get in the lead, of course, first, and then get that 3 seconds. But you can do it in the pit stops. You never know what will happen in Australia. Of course, these are so difficult not to cut here in Australia around this partial street circuit, but the top 3 got a big gap now to Tom Dunn for 5.6 seconds separates 3rd and 4th, so the top 3 are just leaving the rest of the grid. Everybody else is very spaced out. We got Affinity and Echo very close, as well as Peanut, but apart from that, everybody looks spaced out, Jack.
Indeed they do. Adam Lee currently on the back of Perez, and of course once Perez tyres die, you could expect to see Adam Lee start to try and look a bit feisty behind him. But meanwhile as well, back up towards the front 3, it is still pretty much the exact same story between them. Now of course we did say we did expect the front 3 to maybe potentially get away, but we didn't quite expect this front 3. We were expecting to have Mr. Echo's plays involved, but of course the laggy start for him has cost him dearly, and Ninja's just doing his best to try and hold on here for dear life to the back of this train, and of course try and just keep the DRS doing as well as you can. And he's interested sitting back. That could be a sign of either he's just not quite got the pace of these guys, or he's trying to just get out the dirty air and let them do their own thing for now. So that could be some interesting tactics. Meanwhile, Perez, we've got a bit of lag issues there. I think Adam Lee has just lagged out when he's in P6, so that's not what you needed at all from him. Hopefully we can get him back in, because obviously now he's going to get passed by Ricardo, Peanut, Echoes and Lee, which put him way down into P10. He's only got further 10 seconds back towards Julian, so that could be a real shame from the Ferrari driver there. Let's hope we can get him back in though as soon as possible. Little Rye gets a 3-second time, but then this all of a sudden means disadvantage Ninjas, because he is now the man who will take the race victory if it stays the same. But judging by how this field is looking, I don't think it will stay an inch the same, because there's still a good 21 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and pit stops still to factor in. Now, what lap could we expect to see these guys come in? Well, potentially, Ollie, there's actually Little Rye just proving there. He's in for pit.
Yeah, straight into the pit. So I'm just trying to invite Adam back into the game, but I can't seem to find him on my friends list, unfortunately. I'm sure someone else will get him back. But yeah, he's in Little Rye into the pits already, and he's got a penalty. Looks like in the pits as well, maybe speeding. I may have missed that. It looked like he was slightly delayed, but Little Rye out on the, what tyres is he on? Well, my game is slightly lagging here. Soft tyres, right, okay, so we'll be going to the end on those tyres. Come out some clean air as well, so that will be handy. And he's going to have to put the pressure on Overkill and Ninjas to try and pressure them into a pit stop now. So let's see if the undercut works for Little Rye.
Indeed, fair few connectivity issues going on at the moment with most of the drivers. Let's hope that can sort itself out, as I'm watching SI Ninjas lag all over the shop. Let's hope that let's hope we can sort that out, because of course I bet now Overkill's yet again sitting there like a shitting dog, similar to what he did earlier when he had Chris right behind him. But of course now Ninjas just dropped back about a second and a half there, towards turn 11 and 12, and that is a massive bit of lag for me. And actually, I think Ninjas just travelled a screen freeze there, and he's lost the position to Tom.
Oh dear.
Oh no, more connectivity issues for the Haas driver, and he's still continuing to go back, so he's still having these problems. Let's hope, as if now he's been passed by Perez and Peanut. Oh no, that is such a shame for the Haas driver. He is now lagged out of the Grand Prix. Infinity then lets Echo back past. That's now him on the P5. Overkills is into the pits, and all of a sudden we've just now got 2 horse race for the lead. But Overkills is in for a set of the soft tyres. Now the question is where is Little Roy going to come out with regard to him? There is Little Roy on board him now towards turn number 16. As he comes round there, that is the hatch of, I believe we have 2 pitters there. We've got Overkills coming in, Echo Plays and Ninjas. There is Little Roy, there is Overkills on the right hand side of your screen, and gentlemen, they're going to be right close with one another. This could be a brilliant outlap, and he just about swings it. That was almightily close, and he just about managed to do it, but Overkills could have easily parked it then and just forced it around to a halt, but he thinks and plays fair and says, nope, you managed to get the undercut, lad. Just about managed it, but it was margins, fine margins yet again in the first round. That's probably going to be the thing I need to describe the end of the race. Fine margins, and he just about manages to get out ahead, and now Rye has got 1.7 seconds clear of him to Affinity, but that was crucial for him to get back past.
Oh, definitely. You know, I thought we were going to have a bit of contact there through turn 1, but luckily they both stay on track. Undercut worked perfectly, Jack, for Lillery in the Ferrari. He's got 19 laps to do on those soft tyres.
Sorry, I just seen an instant there, a bit further back. Echo Place just walloped the wall out of turn number 5, and that's him out with half a front wing. There goes Ninjas, who's probably a very disgruntled man at the moment, who's currently now down into P10. And he is probably absolutely furious in that cockpit with all the connectivity issues about going on. Meanwhile, Peanut has got past it, so did S. Perez there. Perez will dive in, so will Tom. And the question is where Tom will come out with regards to where he is, because of course now he's meant to come out in a net P3, so it should be behind Overkills and Little Roy, but I think he will come out in that slot between himself and Chris. So I think he should be all good. Meanwhile, Adam Lee, who is still disconnected, let's hope we can get it back in, of course. Perez taking a long time in his box, whether he had a 5-stop go or not, I'm not too sure. Meanwhile, Little Roy is all at the back of Finny. This is crucial for his race, of course. He shifts to the inside, trying to sell a dummy through turn 3, and he might just about have it, of course. Finny not in a battle with these guys, but he has every single right to battle. It's not as if he's being blue flagged, and he happily lets him go once he did commit to move. Now it's Overkill's turn to get past in this scrap for P3, and of course he's looking more ahead. He's looking through the Star Russell almost as if he's a ghost car, but he's been held up massively through turn 6, and this could be just ticking the clock along. Little Roy to have enough of a gap to surely go on to claim the first ever ILR Xbox F2 race victory here in Australia. So he's doing a fantastic job and has a huge chance of going on to continue this throughout this 10-round championship and taking full advantage of the first round, but still a long way to go, of course, not only in the championship but also in the Grand Prix. Out of turn 12 and 11 and 12 they come, and Overkill's looking feisty here on the inside, and he might very much have it here on the Toro Rosso. What will he do round the outside? He can't quite defend it, of course, with this longer tyre wear that he is on, and he slots in behind for now, thinking better of maybe potentially use the DRS to propel himself towards the McLaren of WR Peanut for now. But that was crucial for both Little Roy and Overkills to get past from each race respectively.
Yeah, he needs to get past. Lowry got past Affinity pretty easily down the DRS strip, but Overkill had to get past as quickly as possible to stay within touching distance of the Lowry. It's just over a second. Oh no, it's come back down again. Between second and fifth. Now, of course, Peanut is yet to pit. So he is next on Lowry, and Overkill's hit list, as they say, to try and we'll take the lead back. So essentially, Tom has got net P3 with Chris luckily not lagging anymore down in net P4. Of course, everyone's very disgruntled with everyone not doing their pit stops as of yet on lap number 12. Everyone doing different strategies. But yeah, Lillery, as I said, hopefully having Kirsten spinning times today, but my prediction's doing pretty well at the moment, Jack.
Indeed, but also don't forget my prediction's doing pretty well because he's right behind him. So we were both bang on, but we did pretty much go the easy options to Peanut. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice that we do that. It's not very often happens. That was the Red Bull there of WR Button, who has unfortunately lagged out, just being lapped by the leaders there. But of course, this is now, yeah, like you said, it's almost like one hit less into another. But yeah, the prediction's currently going right for us. Let's hope it does stay that way, and let's hope we're in for a cracking final 17 laps between these two. Hopefully, a bit of a war. And Tom as well, we're only 10 seconds behind, so any mistakes from these guys, and he will be right on top of them as well. Chris only 2 seconds behind him. So if he can close up, maybe potentially a scrap for that final podium position, of course, that's what you want in a first round. That'd be a good finish for yourself in a P3. Of course, he was originally right behind him P4, and he's taking full advantage of the fact that Ninjas unfortunately has had a disconnect. Tom as well has just made a man who's taking full opportunity. Meanwhile, Peanut does go to the inside line. Look, dives it right down the inside. Sorry, I meant the racing line. He just about does it. Now it's the turn of overkills, and Peanut is doing his best, but he just can't do it and lets him through. Thinks better of it. That'd be smart thinking from the lad. Just let them go and just have your own fun, race your own race. And now that means the front two have a scrap on their hands. Now the question is who's better on these harder tyres? There's one thing to be quick on one lap, but it's all about consistency now throughout these final 17 laps we have left of the Australian Grand Prix. Ollie.
Yeah, still the gap between, there's 2 minutes between the top two. I'm looking at the down the grid there. Jack Perez and Ricardo were pretty close to their gap, as unfortunately Julian's just got past Nate as well, coming down the second DRS straight through Red Bull Force India battle, but still of course on board with the top two, they're following the gearbox coming through the final stages of the lap on lap number 30. Almost going down the inside, coming into the multiple corner there for overkill. And he's got a great run coming out of the final bend, Jack, and this could be a potential move coming down to turn 1.
Indeed it could. Little Rod doing his best. He almost just completely goes defensive. They're going to the inside line. Now here goes on the outside. The Williams have overkill. Side by side through turns 1 and 2. And he might have just shoved him out there just a little bit. Of course, even ground on penalties. And I think he might very much have it. Well, Little Rod going for a lunge down the inside to get back. He does have a little sniff, but he can't quite do it. And the Williams finally has that race lead he's been eluded so long of. And finally, he has an opportunity, and Wright is slowing down just that little bit. I'm not sure what's happening here. He just slowed down a little bit. He's got damage, but is that damage on the front left? I hope not, but it looks like a tiny bit. Compare it to the front right.
Potentially have the green front wing. It says okay, but it's not. It's like the light green damage potentially on the front wing for the Ferrari, but of course we don't know. In the commentary box, Jack.
Yeah, of course, we can only look at visual. We only get a little visual look. We don't get all the telemetry and stuff. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a lag going on here between Ricardo and Ninjas. I keep switching the position spot. I think, oh, there's been a move here. There's been a move that we've missed. But no, there hasn't. It's just literally lag between the two, which is not going on. I really do feel sorry for Ninjas. He was on for potential podium here on his first Grand Prix. In fact, he very much was. And it's just all gone on from a small disconnect and a few issues connection-wise. And he just picked up suffering 3-second time penalty there. So I'm just making his day even worse. Just don't watch him. Just don't, because it's just cursing him even more. We're still expecting to see the 2 guys on the softs in Peanut and Affinity. We're still expecting to see them in yellow flag in sector 1. What have we had there? Oh, it's Nate in the middle of the moment at turn number 3. Meanwhile, as well, just look at Ricardo. He keeps respawning on the track. He's doing Harry Potter, doing a bit of wizardry as Nate retires from the session. That's a shame to see from the Force India. Hopefully bounce back next week though, lad. He did look promising with an interesting quali call, of course, going on to the Super Softs, but still hopefully see you back for the future rounds to come. But Ollie, it's been an interesting race so far, to say the least.
Yeah, it's been a great race as a commentator, and hopefully the guys who are watching the stream are enjoying the race as well. Just an update on penalties, Jack. Lilry's got a 3-second penalty, so he's up to 6 seconds now. So Overkill having the advantage. He does make a mistake. I shouldn't have said anything. He just got his own penalty. So they're both out on 6 seconds a piece. So they're both back into position. But yeah, it's been a great race. Unfortunately, we have had some lag incidents. Hopefully that is fixed for next week. The players battling all over the track as Tom has just got past. Who was that? Peanut.
Peanut's had a moment. Yeah, he's just spun at turn number 12. There goes Perez just going past him, but that's a shame because he's still yet to pit. So this is kind of his crucial lap to sort of give it his best he's got, and then eventually gone to the ultra soft tyres, and he's just dropped it again at turn number 14. And there is Ninjas and Ricardo, and Ninjas actually just passed Ricardo there. And by looks things in towards 13. And that means now that he's going to be further down the grid, and unfortunately Peanut's day goes from bad to worse. He was in the race lead, so he gets that honour, you know, being in the race lead. Sadly, just a small mistake for him at turn number 12, and his day has just got even worse. Hopefully you see him potentially back up again, like we will to all of these drivers for next week, which I hate to sound like a novice, but I don't know where we're travelling to next week. Holly?
I will get on it for you, Jack, so you can you comments there and I'll find out for us.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing about what we have to offer you this time next week. I'm very much excited to be here, of course, for the 10 round season. As you cannot tell, I'm always smiling. I feel like Daniel Ricciardo at the moment in the commentary box. But back up towards the leaders still, and otherwise now dropped 1.6 seconds behind. And of course, as you said, it is now equal ground between the two. So no more this penalty malarkey. It's all down to who's got the quickest car, who has got the most consistency about them, and who is the better driver, ultimately. As much as I'm sure none of these would like to admit who's the better driver in terms of who, because we're all racing drivers out there, let's face it, we all do it for a nice bit of fun, but at the same time we all want to be competitive and doing well, and these two have certainly proved it. They could potentially be a rivalry stretching out throughout Season 1, heading towards, of course, Season 2 we do head into the 2018 game. And I think, honestly, Ollie, while I have a brief moment, while we have a brief silence and a brief bit of calm, as Chris, by the way, has just passed There's a bit of lag issues going on there again. But I would like to quickly say thank you to everyone who is tuning in. Thank you, of course, to ILR. I'm sure Ollie would have been for offering this commentary has been fantastic. The hype around it has been unbelievable. I'm sure as you would agree. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the season. That's all I'll say. I'm going to stop for the cringy commentary. It's overkill. Number 3 second time penalty there, Ollie. And all of a sudden, we're back to the penalties malarkey.
Oh dear, penalties coming back into play here, Jack. And Hillary, he was almost 2.5 seconds back on overkill, but now I think he's getting back into that zone. I think he lost, I hope maybe the wrong word, but he wasn't in the right mindset. And now he's getting back in the zone. I'm sure Jeff is telling him that the driver in front has got penalties, and that gap is closing rapidly on this lap. He's gained 4 tenths alone in sector 2 to catch up to the back of overkill, so we may see the top two come back together. Of course, Lillery has one lap on the tyres, so we need to stop talking about penalties because there's nothing again. Oh dear. But anyway, season-wise, Jack, Australia this week. The next race, of course, 10 race season. We've got Bahrain, Spain, Canada, Austria, United Kingdom, Belgium, Japan, Brazil, and to round off the 10 race season is Abu Dhabi.
That sounds like one hell of a calendar. I wish F1 had that, but of course a bit more races. It sounds like an unbelievable season filled with action-packed racing tracks, of course. I very much look forward to bringing you next week, of course, as Chris is actually in for his stop. I believe actually this is his first stop. He was one of the guys who started on the soft tyres. He's now onto the super softs by the looks of things. So he's trying a different one. I would expect to see the guys who started on the softs to go onto the ultra softs. The Mercedes crew just finish up in his pit box there, and he is now down into P9 by the looks of things. So he has now about 7 seconds towards Peanut, in which he could bomb it. Of course, Peanut's still due in a stop, so he's actually in the net P8. So still 4 points in a good first championship round. That's probably not what he wanted, given where he was at the start of the race. But still, you've got to look at the right side. I always think the positives, at least it's some points, because it's what everyone, I'm sure, will want. They want as many points as they possibly can, because of course they want to win that copy of F1 2018, and of course that lovely trophy which we do have on offer in a rather competitive field, you've got to say. As meanwhile, there's actually another bit of lag there. Oh my goodness me, I'm not sticking on board with that. Oh my goodness me, the two McLarens are having a bit of a fun. They're in P7 and 8. I don't really know what to say about that. Interesting. Ollie,
yeah,
can you shed some light on that?
I'm not an expert on lag, but I think we do have some internet problems here in the lobby. Hopefully, it is fixed. Just an update on Nate, who went out earlier on. It looked like he hit an unsighted car at the start of the grid and lost him a lot of time. It's unfortunate for him, he went out. But hopefully he can come back stronger next week. But Peanut into the pits. It looks like he should be going on to the supers the ultras to do the last 10 laps, and it looks like they're lovely. Purple wall tyres, he's going on for that orange McLaren. Nate has left the session as well, maybe because I was talking about him. But yeah, all my Chris is all over the place. I'm not going to stay on board with him. But The top two, the gap is increased again, Jack. I thought that Lowry was getting into the zone, but dropping back now 2.3 seconds. The top two are 19 seconds ahead of Tom. So maybe this is the battle for the season, Jack. You know, these two fighting for the lead. I'm sure Ninjas will have something to say about it as well. But of course, plenty more races left in the season. But 10 laps remaining here. And hopefully we have some more battling on track. Ninjas and Perez very close as well, Jack.
Indeed they are. Of course, Ninjas on a comeback drive after that unfortunate disconnect. He's still on for P4, which you've got to say, even though he had a slight connectivity issues and lost loads of positions, he's almost on for a good position here. Is he just run a little bit, just for Perez, run a little bit wide there onto the AstroTurf. A turn at number 14. And you've got to say, Ninjas as well looking strong. But of course, the one man you've got to say strong, who unfortunately has not had a good day, the Renault driver of Echo Plays, of course, was at the front before qualifying, and it looked to be potentially a 3-horse race. So we could potentially see some more guys like Ninjas, like Echoes, bounce their way back up. Of course, Tom as well looks strong on race pace. Of course, he has dropped off from the leaders, but I think that's only because of where he started, really. Ricardo is in for his second stop. He went on to the Super Sauce for his middle stint, so it should be Ultra Sauce for the lad, and he will absolutely gun for it. But I personally think that's the wrong call from him, as Chris goes faster for 24.0, so that's nice for him. I'm sure he'll remember that for quite a while, saying, yep, I set fastest lap. But the question is, will it be beaten by these guys now on the Ultra Soft tyres? We would expect them to. Meanwhile, back up towards this battle between the Haas and the Force India, and I will continue to say I love the fact that Perez is in the Force India. I just think that's brilliant. I think that is so well done.
I wonder if he did it on purpose or not.
I hope he did. It wouldn't make me laugh if it didn't even have a reason to have Perez in his name. I said if it actually wasn't Sergio Perez, it was just like his name or something. It was just in general, just fancied the name.
Yeah, I have to ask if he gets on the podium this season. Hopefully we can. I'll ask him that question.
I'm sure it won't make it feel too awkward. It'll make us feel awkward if it is. But that is just ironic, of course, in ILR. I'm sure he didn't intend that, but us in the com box, I hope he did. That's just rather fitting irony, to be honest with you. Meanwhile, still on board with this battle, as we should really commentate on. Ninjas looking very feisty on the back of me. Watch out towards turn 16 here. Watch out for him trying to get a better. It's on the swing his way round, like on a set of swings. He's done his best too. But he's got barely any fuel to burn, interestingly. The pair of them, but Ninjas shift to the inside up towards turn number 1. Can he get the move done on the comeback trail for the Haas driver? Down the inside goes, and he looks like he might very much have it nice and wrapped up in a shiny bow and sent to his missus. That's him in a P4 for now. Fantastic job from the Haas driver. And on his comeback, he's now 7 seconds behind Tom. And the question is, can he close that up? He's going to do his damn hardest too. And Perez might just have to slot himself in and just hope that he's not going to have a ride of a lifetime as Infinity closes up to him on the Ultra Softs. Of course, the Toro Rosso driver is bringing that gap down unbelievably. But of course, he's going to do his best to try and make sure he holds that P5 and claims 10 points on his first race. Of course, everyone's first race. But that would be a good day for him. And Ninjas on a comeback drive. But a fantastic bit of dueling between them two into turn 1 and 2, Ollie.
Yeah, great little move from Ninjas coming into turn 1. Later with the brakes on those fresher tyres for the Haas driver. But he's closing down on Tom really quickly, so potentially, Ninjas has done a great job to get back to where he was. He did start in P4 on the grid, and if he can gain another position, that would be, like you said, Jack, a great comeback drive for the Haas driver. He's got 7 laps to get 5.8 seconds, and he's closed the gap by over half a second on this lap alone, so we'll keep an eye on the gap between 3rd and 4th. Overkill still leading by 2.5 seconds over Lillery. Tom, of course, into the 21 seconds back, and the rest of the grid stands as Ninjas in 4th, Perez 5th, Affinity in 6th, Chris in 7th, Julian 8th, Ricardo in 9th, and War Peanuts round of the top 10 drivers. Of course, you still have Adam Lee in 11th, Echo Blades 12th, and Patton in 13th, but they may be ghost cars, so I don't know if they're going to officially count in standings, but of course we'll check with the ILR coordinators later on.
Yeah, of course we will. I'm just currently on board this battle between the Mercedes and the Toro Rosso. They're currently for P6, and of course this will be the saving grace for Perez, of course, because if these two battle away, that might just about be enough for him to maintain the gap as much as he does, to hold that P5 for now. But Affinity just doesn't look very comfortable on them ultra soft tyres, and Chris looks like as if he's perfect for him. He looks like he's a match made in heaven, them super softs. Affinity immediately shifts to the inside there and towards turn 9s and 10. He immediately said, nope, not down my inside there, sunshine, but watch out towards 11 and 12. I'm sure Chris will now, after seeing that, think, right, I'm going to go just as aggressive. He goes to the outside there, clips the wall just that little bit. Now towards 11 and 12, watch him trying to swing his way out and try and get himself up towards 13. He's just not quite able to do it now. Now it's all about the long wait towards turns number 1 and 2. So now it'll just be about sticking as close as you can and make sure you get the best possible exit out of 16. Prepare yourself. Think corners ahead. Always thinking corner ahead. That's what all these guys are doing. Thinking, when can I go for a move? When's appropriate? When is going to be the correct time if the conditions change? The amount of thoughts going on these guys' head is incredible. So yellow flag in sector 3. But out of turn number 16 comes the Mercedes. And crucially, Infinity has got DRS. So it's a straight drag race between the two. Mercedes against Toro Rosso. Who will come out on top? Down the inside goes Chris for P6. And he might just about have it. And Infinity has been pushed off into the grass. I'm sure we don't appreciate that one bit. But he just about manages to get the move done. And Chris is now 7.4 seconds behind Perez. Can he close him up with around about just under 6 laps, just over 6 laps to go? Sorry, just under. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, not long at all to go in the Grand Prix now, and it is looking exciting with gaps coming down as the guys who are on 2 stops and on the softer tyres starting to close up on them. They're just trying to make their tyres go to the end. These guys on the soft tyres in the top 5. Meanwhile, the guys behind them hunting down like a pack of wolves. The guys like Chris, Affinity, Peanut as well starting to close towards Julian for P8. Meanwhile, there's still some more lag issues going on between Chris there, as I just saw Affinity get back past him. But a bit of Jordan, a bit of bargy stuff between the two there, Ollie.
Yeah, between Chris and Joe bashed Affinity out of the way to get past. Maybe I don't know if you can call that up in the series, but yeah, Chris getting past I think P6. But looking at the gap, Hinton Tom was cut by almost 2 seconds now, Jack. So that gap really coming on. The Perez is sticking with Ninja. He's following him through the last couple of laps he had here in Australia. So we'll keep an eye on all these gaps, of course. But with 5 laps remaining, guys, let us know your driver of the day in the chat, so we can, of course, we'll have our own winners. Finley gets a 3-second time penalty as well. But yeah, let us know in the chat who your driver of the day is. But the 5 laps remaining, Jack Overkill extending that lead over there now, and I think the top 2 are set in stone.
Indeed, I think it very much might be that way. It's a shame to see, really, but that's a sign of things to come between these two. Could we see a rivalry formed here in Season 1? We've seen many different rivalries across league racing and the Formula 1 universe. It's just natural. It happens when two guys are on very similar pace. They do like to one-up each other on any possible day, and it looks like it might be advantage Williams heading towards the next round in terms of the championship, as Overkill still leads over the Ferrari. And it just doesn't look like... It might have just been a small bit of damage that he just picked up. Little right, potentially, when Overkill went for a move, potentially just a slight nudge, just a tiny little nudge. Of course, anything can happen when it comes to battle, and so just that tiny little bit. He has got DRS, interestingly, from actually his teammate, who's a ghost, Adam Lee. So despite the fact he's not even here, he's still helping out his teammate, still doing bits for him. As Perez now starting to drop off, he's now under that one, he's now over that 1 second gap, so now he has to do it all on more pace. He doesn't have the advantage of DRS anymore, which will sort of help him propel forward. But meanwhile, Ninja's down under 4 seconds, so he is closing up like a stabbed rat, and has a chance here to claim that final pole position off of Tom. Now, I don't know what it's like in terms of penalties, Ollie. If you wouldn't mind checking, just to be safe, so when these two do get close, whether it is actually going to mean anything. If Ninjas has more penalties and obviously then get past, then it's actually nope, it's not for nothing, because then obviously Tom will retake that position.
Yeah, I'll just take a look now between both the drivers. Can't see anything at the moment, but there's a long list of warnings, penalties, and speeding into pit lane for all the drivers. It's quite difficult around the track, of course. Can't seem to see anything from these guys. Warnings, of course. Honestly, I don't think either have got penalties, Jack. So it's 1-1 from Tom, but neither penalties are for either driver. So they're on unequal terms, Ninjas and Tom.
Fantastic, you got safe from them two then to keep it clean throughout the race. That's nice going from them, especially as well with it being so easy to do. Even as well when you're in battle, and of course, you know, you get pushed out a little bit more wide, and of course you want to get past, so you make sure you skip across the track as quick as possible. So it can happen. It's nice to see these two haven't. Of course, Tom, despite the fact he's in P3, he's done a relatively quiet race, and he's just kept it clean, kept it consistent, and at the moment is going to come home in P3. So a fantastic job from the Renault driver, doing himself absolute bits and bringing home 15 points for the Renault for the French-based team. So not going too bad at all. So watch out for this guy in future rounds in terms of his race pace. more or less compared to his quali pace. Of course, he qualified down in P7, and he is now way up into P3. Of course, the front two have been the two that swapped. Ninja's, despite the fact of what's happened to him, he's still in the position that he qualified in, so not bad at all from him when you consider all things said and done. Perez and Chris have swapped round positions. That's what's happened between them two. Affinity has climbed up from P14 on the grid and is into P7. Meanwhile, Julian is still, I believe, maybe having some connectivity issues, because I don't think there was a move from Peanut there. Peanut having from P12 himself. So not too bad, of course, going from outside the points to win the points. That's still a good day, really, you consider it, after qualifying went so wrong. What do we have in the chat? Ollie, have we got anything in there?
We've had we've got Paul in the chat saying that's good battling and he's loving it. Nate Dogg, thought he retired earlier on, saying awesome work from both of us. So that is lovely. Thank you very much, Nate, for that. But no one's piped up about their driver of the day. So if no one's piped up, Jack, who is your driver of the day here in Australia for round one of ILR?
It was my man that I talked about just about a lap ago, the Renault driver of Tom's battles for me. I just think he's just kept it clean. Of course, he could still lose that podium place to S1 Ninjas. He could still even lose P4 to Perez if it went all wrong for him. But I just think he's just been so consistent. He hasn't done he hasn't really put a foot wrong. He's just been clean, and he's had faultless from me. So, my opinion, Tom will win my first driver of the day. Ollie, please give me yours.
Ooh. I agree with Mel's point he made about Tom. He's always been in the background of stuff, and he's had a great race. I was looking at the table. I think I might give it to Infinity purely because he's been great on track, and as well gaining 7 positions from where he started. So I think personally I'm going to give it to him. But of course, a great job from all the drivers who will finish this Grand Prix. It is a tough one here in Australia. It's not the nicest tracks. The Paris is still pretty close to the tarmac, but yeah, I think Affinity for my driver of the day.
Indeed. Now, we got several mentions to the front two as well, because they have just absolutely disappeared from the rest of the field. They are a whole pit stop clear. If either of them were to pit, they would come out still in their positions. Of course, if Overkill's pit, he would come out P2, but you know what I mean, they wouldn't come out into P3, so you've got to say that's fantastic from them. And a sign, hopefully, I hope not, of things to come. I hope it's going to be close between the entirety of the field, which I'm sure it will be, but particularly these two, just that little bit more, they have that little bit more to give. Of course, there's many guys out there who have been troubled this Grand Prix, Ninjas being one, of course. Chris as well, with his slight lag issues as well. He was another one that slightly got hindered. Echo plays, of course, I will continue to mention him. Of course, he qualified in P3 and now he's way down the field in towards P12, and I believe he's currently a ghost car, so it's a shame to see from the Renault, but hopefully sign of things to come. So unfortunately, one driver is P4. One driver started in P7 in the Renault and is now P3. The other started P3 and is now down into P12, so not really too great from them. Meanwhile, Peanut here trying to get past Julian here for P8 in towards turn 4. Meanwhile as well, Chris is now all over the back of Perez. Sorry, I completely missed this. Up towards 11 and 12. We are on the penultimate lap, of course, so not long at all to go for these guys. It's called final lap for the race leaders. So these guys have still got 2 more laps to go. So in normal lap says they are not on their final lap. They have still got this final third sector and another whole lap to go. But Chris could be on for P5 here, off of Perez. Now, I don't know what the situation in terms of penalties between these two, but I hope it is equal grounds between them. But the Force India looking vulnerable, as Daniel Ricciardo says he likes them vulnerable. I'm sure Chris does as well. He's up to the inside. He hasn't got the DRS on clinically. Now he has. Finally, took your time, son. Up towards turn 1, down the inside goes the Mercedes, and he might very much have it here. It looks like as if he just about does. Watch out for the switchback on towards turn number 3. He picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that'd be clinical for his race come the end of that. Could that have just cost him, or does that actually mean nothing for us, Ollie?
I'm just double checking now, Jack. Of course, the penalty may affect him at the end of the race. My whole thing is in the wrong way round, but I think Chris does have another penalty. So one top. Of course, that's no Chris. Yeah, I think Chris got 6 seconds, unfortunately. So Chris, I think maybe the lag hasn't helped him today, Jack, and maybe that's caused potentially some of the penalties, but we'll have to wait and see. But Overkill's won. We just missed that.
I was on board. I did ride on board. Little Right takes P2 there. Fantastic job from the pair of them. Lovely to see between the scrap they did have. Overkill's got past for the second stint, and that managed to grab him the race win. And he's the winner, of course, of the inaugural ILRF2 race on the Xbox side. So congratulations to him. He gets that momentous thing, and he will hold that with pride, I'm sure. It looks feisty for the rest of the championship, and looks very strong in terms of race pace as well as quali. Tom Battles is going to take P3. Fantastic job from him. Ninja's going to take P4. Chris, in the end, does take P5. And in the end, Perez nicks it from the pair of Ninjas and Chris, and he snatches P4 in the Force India. Fantastic from him. I'm sure he's ecstatic with that. I'm sure across the line, he has a massive smile, wider than the track. And it's unbelievable for him. He now takes 12 points all of a sudden. Fantastic job from him. Meanwhile, around the final few corners come at Julian and Peanut. These two have a mini scrap near the end. And it's going to be Peanut, P8, and Julian in the end takes it as well due to penalties. So the Red Bull snatches that. The final points playing position will go towards Ricardo in the McLaren. And that will do that. So, Overkills wins round number 1. And boy, oh boy, are we in for a championship, Ollie.
Oh, definitely. If today's got anything to go by, the rest of the season is going to be absolutely fantastic. And hopefully you will join us for Tier 2 for the rest of the season. I'm sure Tier 1 is also very appetizing, but you know, if you stay with us, that would be fantastic. Here on the F1 2017 game. But yeah, congratulations to the winners, Williams, Ferrari and a Renault on the podium. I wonder if these guys are actually old enough to drink the champagne, but we will go into that. But yeah, Williams on top spot. There, just a final rundown of the standings, and lots of penalties as you can see there. So Overkill wins it with Lilry in second, Tom third, Perez fourth, Chris in fifth, Ninja sixth, Affinity 7th, Julian 8th, Peanut 9th, Ricardo 10th. These are all ghost cars now, Jackson. I don't know if they're going to count at all, but we'll double check at the end of the... well, we'll double check after the stream. But yeah, we're all done here. So if I pass over to Jack to start the interviews, I think we do have for today's Grand Prix.
I believe we do. I will see if I can get these guys in. Overkill's fantastic gamer picture, I've got to say, from Overkill's. That looks terrific. I hope that's not a self-portrait, lad, because that doesn't really reflect you very well. But yeah, he takes the top step. And of course, I believe Little Ray has backed out, so I don't think we'll be able to get him in for podium questions. We'll have to wait and see if these guys do jump in. Of course, as we have Tom, so P3 man in at the Renault is in the party. We can get our of course in as well, maybe potentially for a few words, but if not, we'll just have a little bit of a discussion with the man who was actually my driver of the day. So congratulations, Tom, you won that prestigious award, but I'm pretty sure you're more bothered about winning that P3 in the end. Do not forget to have your tick enabled for us. Lovely. Welcome, my friend. We will see if we can get our race winner in for a few words. If not, don't worry about it. Hopefully we'll be able to see him in future rounds. He does have his thing on 2 not disturb, which I believe means I can't invite him to parties. He's actually just left the game, so we'll have to scratch that and we will just move on. We'll move on to Tom. First of all, my friend, congratulations on taking the final podium position in the inaugural, of course, ILR F2 Xbox race. Is he actually in now? There we go, fantastic. We do have a race winner, but we'll quickly go to our third place man, then we will move across to our race winners. First of all, Tom, congratulations. First question for you. You were pretty quiet throughout the majority of the Grand Prix. No real massive action for you, of course. Was that your mentality, just to keep it clean, keep it consistent, and see where you ended up, of course, learning your way around in a new league?
Yeah, that was the first time I've ever done a league race with no assist properly. Well, of course I had line, so I was just like, keep it clean, drive your way. People are going to crash out, you gain 3 positions doing that, and yeah, just kept it clean the whole time, not getting in too many battles.
Yeah, indeed, you did. You perfectly did that as well. You know, I kept just seeing you just pretty much like a ghost in the background, just constantly sneaking up, and in the end, you took and pounced your chance and managed to grab that P3. Of course, you were a little bit lucky, shall we say, of course, when Ninja's having a slight connectivity issues, but of course, anyone, anywhere, sometimes you just need just a little bit of luck, of course. Second question for you comes about sort of in terms of the future, in terms of the championship aspirations. Of course, as you said, first race for yourself with no assist, so massive congratulations for yourself for getting P3 with that. That is an incredible achievement for you. But my second question comes to you about what is your aims in this championship? What do you hope to do? Do you hope to be up there challenging for the title, or do you just want to score yourself some nice podiums and potentially a few wins?
I call myself lucky that race. I don't think I'll get another podium this season. I'm a reserve because I can't really make every race. It's quite a bad time for me this time of day on a Friday, so I don't think I'll be up there in the championship. I think I'll be floating around in the middle bit somewhere. But I think I was just lucky to get a podium today.
Well, you can call yourself lucky, but at the same time, you definitely did deserve it, my friend. Final question for you, of course, comes to you about next week, as I naturally do after the final question, which, Ollie, correct me if I'm wrong, we do travel to Bahrain.
Correct.
Well, hey, I'm on a roll. We do travel to Bahrain for the desert circuit, of course, under the lights. What's your thoughts on that track? Obviously, if you're not going to be there, maybe potentially as well, hopefully we will see you there, because of course you do look very strong. But what's your thoughts on Bahrain? You know, what's your thoughts going into it? Do you like the track?
It's okay. It's sort of a box, but there's not really much there. Apart from that, was it turn 10? That's the bit I'm worried about. But yeah, it's a bit of a challenging track, like the middle sector. Other than that, it's just about getting slipstream and DRS.
Indeed it is. It's going to be race crucial for you. Ollie, any questions for yourself for our P3 man?
Congratulations on a great result. You sort of just like Jack said, we were a ghost in the background the whole time, and yeah, brilliant race. Gained a lot of positions, and yeah, congratulations on P number 3.
Thanks.
And we will swiftly move on to, of course, our race winner with an interesting profile picture, to say the least. Mr. Overkills. I do very much, you know, that's a very nice self-portrait, my friend. Of course, you guys can't see what it is, but it is an interesting one. But Overkills, first of all, my friend, congratulations on a victory in the inaugural ILR2 Xbox race. Firstly, what was your strategy? Because of course you're still new to the league. Everyone's new to the league. You're learning your way around it, and of course you had a high qualifying in P2, but of course you were marginally missed out on pole position, and you pretty much sat behind that Ferrari for that entire stint, and then you pounced on the second stint. Was that always your plan, to sort of just stick behind and wait till the pit stops, or were you always feisty right from lap 1 to lap number 29?
I wouldn't say I was feisty all the way through, but I was looking for that, you know, that overtake quite early on. Just keeping the pressure on really was my main thought. Maybe force him into making a mistake, and then I could come through. But he looked like a consistent driver. So after making my pit stop, I realised that he's not gonna make a big enough mistake for me to go through. So just had to try and get the overtake done, and try and obviously win the race that way.
Indeed, and you certainly most did it. It looks like there might be a potential rivalry between yourself and Little Roy heading into future rounds of the championship, because you two just absolutely walked away with it. But there was guys as well in there, particularly in qualifying. I did notice with Echoes in the Renault of an unfortunate start to the race, in which I believe he did have a slight glitch start, so he missed out unfortunately. But as well, of course, Ninjas popped out behind you as well. So he looked very much feisty, along with Chris actually. Unfortunately, he had a few connectivity issues as well. Quite a lot of connectivity issues throughout this Grand Prix. Hopefully, they do improve for future rounds. Second question for you comes about the championship. Of course, you did win, and of course, in 10-round championship, it's clinical to win every single round. Do you feel you have the potential to go on to claim, of course, that prestigious ILR F2 trophy, along with a copy of F1 2018? Do you think you've got enough to grab the championship?
I think I could if I'm consistent enough. I had a few moments in that race and picked up too many penalties for my liking. If I can cut those down, maybe, you know, try not to make these stupid, silly mistakes in like simple corners, maybe I can be a lot quicker, and maybe I can put up more of a fight, little lie, earlier on in like the races, and I'll make it more interesting for the start at least. But yeah, I think I can go on to win it if I do step up my game a little bit, because I think he's got that star quality about him.
Indeed, he does look very feisty. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him in for podium questions. Hopefully, maybe next time we will, if he is back up here. Final question for you, as usual, does come for you about next week. Of course, we do travel to Bahrain, as I did mention, of course. What's your thoughts on that track? Are you confident you can potentially back this up to make it 2 wins from 2 and continue a 100% record?
I do like Bahrain, yes, but I'm sort of average at it. I'm not as quick as I am. I'm like compared to other drivers as I am on Australia. So it's going to be interesting to see where I end up. But hopefully, yeah, I can make it 2 out of 2. go on to win the championship and then that precious copy of F1 2018, and of course that gift card.
Yeah. I'm sure you're looking forward to that. I'm sure you are. Now, Ollie, any further questions you have with yourself towards Overkills?
Just congratulations on the first win of the season, and
Thank you.
yeah, well, Jack, you got the prediction right, so you're one up in our inter-commentary battle for predictions. So yeah, congratulations for you as well, Jack, for getting the result
Thank you.
right. But yeah,
Thank you.
Overkill, great win, and hopefully
you.
we see the same next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Indeed, and that will conclude that. Ollie, thank you very much for joining me in the Combots, my friend. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to joining you throughout the next rounds in the championship.
Very much, likewise, looking forward to it.
Indeed, and I hope you guys are as well, of course, in the chat. And of course, congratulations to our three podium sitters, of course, Overkills with the race victory, Little Roy with P2, and Tom in P3. Well done to all three of you. Good luck for next week, and we'll see you at the same time, same place next week for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you guys very much for racing, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.